Hey guys, we have Troy over here. Troy is one of my coaches and also RSCI Master Coach, and he has quite a story to tell. So Troy, welcome. How you doing, buddy? You're in South Africa right now, yeah?
No, Robert. Yeah, I'm in South Africa now, moving to Franschhoek from Johannesburg, to go and spend time in nature and relax and have some peace and quiet.
Nice. I kind of caught you in a middle of a move, from what I hear, yeah?
Yes, 100%, which is perfect timing if you want to look at it that way.
Cool, because none of this was really planned. I just figured let me reach out and do a little interview and see what's happening in Europe, because rumor has it you have quite a story to tell. So why don't you go ahead? Tell us about your life prior to doing my training. I'm really curious in terms of who was Troy back then. What were your circumstances in life? Just tell us a little bit about that so we can have an idea of your journey, I guess.
Okay, cool. So I spent much of my life trying to impress family members and friends who had expectations of the way that I should be living life, what a secure job meant, what a good university meant, and a good degree. So from a very young age, I questioned whether this life of a white picket fence and getting a secure job and climbing the corporate ladder was what I wanted to do in my life, and one day retire and then go and travel, or then go and experience life the way that I wanted to. So from a very young age, I asked my mother, "Is this what life's about?" And she just replied to me, "Yeah, I think so." And I said to her, "That's not for me." But I went to university, did what I was guided to do. And after I finished university, I didn't enjoy the job I was doing, which was in accounting, and I didn't understand how I'd worked so hard at university for 4 years, and I was taking orders from authority and not really enjoying myself. So 6 months into that job, I decided to start playing poker for a living. So I went to Europe to play poker. And much to the distress of my parents and my family and friends and everything, I just realized that I wanted to live a life that was free, and poker was the only way that I knew how to live this free life. And I went to Europe, played poker for 5-6 years for a living, and then I moved back to Cape Town when it started snowing in Ireland. I'm not interested in snow. It's a bit too cold for me. I know you enjoy snow in Serbia. But and I moved back to Cape Town, and I was a bit lost. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue playing poker. I'd made money, and I got stuck into a very cliquey Cape Town party scene, and was trying to impress people again. So it was a theme throughout my life, looking for belonging and looking to impress people. And the way that I found that confidence was through drugs and alcohol. So I'd used drugs and alcohol from when I was young, but never at such a scale. So when I got back in about 2010, 2011, 2012, I started partying a lot. Didn't work because I didn't think that I had to. I was playing poker. I was in this free life, and I was like, money's just coming in forever, and I'll be fine. And then I got very unfulfilled with playing poker. The money didn't really do it for me. I didn't have any drive behind it. I'd play poker and I'd drink and I'd do drugs and wake up late and go to parties, and I was like, is this it again? Is this all life's about now? So going from, is this life about kids and a job and secure jobs, corporate, that way that we get told life's about, to this party lifestyle of playing poker, money, women, and drugs, to going, is this it? So unfulfilled again. So from that place, when I wasn't working anymore, I decided, okay, let me get into property, which was also very much of a fast-paced lifestyle, money and drugs as well. So continued doing drugs, and I was unfulfilled in that as well, because I didn't really add much value to anyone or anything. It was just selling and leasing industrial and commercial property, where someone would buy, someone would sell, and I just be the agent or the broker and take a huge fee for it. So again, not adding any value, same as poker. Poker didn't add much value, and neither did accounting, to be honest with you. I was just doing what the government told me to do. So so once I had done well in property, and I realized I was unfulfilled as well, my life sort of stopped, as per se. I felt lost. I didn't know what to do, and I sunk into a depression. Started using more drugs, and stopped working at the end of in 2018, June, July. This was a year before I came to see you, Robert, and I stopped working. I was engaged. My fiance and I were partying the whole time, filled with drugs, filled with partying, and lots of people around us for the engagement. And we spent that whole year, the rest of the year from July till December 2019, in a brand new, beautiful house with people around us, just fake and unfulfilled, and numbing myself from all this pain that I felt, this emotional pain that I felt from not actually knowing who I was or where I was going in my life. I had no direction, no idea of what life was actually about. I had something, I knew there was more to it, but I wasn't in my power. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, because I thought that I had to do certain things that I was told to by media and society and family and school and university for that matter. And my friends like, get a real job, climb the corporate ladder, and it just wasn't for me. So I numbed that pain. And in January of that year, I slipped deeply into a depression, and I became suicidal. And I was thinking about killing myself. I was thinking I had no future vision for myself. So it was a dark place. So I sat down with my fiance and I said to her, look, we either stop using drugs and we work on our relationship, or we break up and we sell the house and we split everything and we go our separate ways. So that was like a 3-4 hour conversation where we decided, okay, this is not going anywhere. Our life's not going to come to sort of anything. And we decided then and there to both go to rehab. So I checked myself into treatment. She did too. I got some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which was just like, and they didn't really do much. It was just like, stop doing the drugs, behavioral. Don't be depressed. After that, after coming out, yeah, I was clean and I was aligned, but I was on serious medication. I was on anti-anxiety, antidepressants, sleeping tablets, and I was told that I'd be on these pills my entire life. So
you drugs for different drugs.
I swapped drugs for legal drugs now. Exactly. They just swapped drugs in the treatment center. They gave me, I said, I don't want drugs. They said, no, you have to. So I got onto these drugs and I came out of rehab and I was hallucinating because it was so strong. So I decided that I wanted to get off. So I started doing yoga, but I started doing Kriya yoga and understanding the theory of yoga, understanding mind and thought and emotions and meditation. But I needed more. I didn't understand what was actually going on. I understood it, and I was reading books, and I was reading this, found a Swami and learning from her. And then I went to my coach or therapist here, who was actually trained by you. And I said to her, I want to.
Who was this? Who's one of my coaches that worked with?
Peter. So
yeah, I know.
So she actually said to me, go to treatment, and I went back to her. I saw her for like 18 months or 2 years, and I said, she's like, what do you want to do now? I said, I don't know. I want to help people. I want to do what you do. Like, you helped me sort of come out of this thing. I want to help people. And I was like, but I cannot find any coaching program in South Africa that is worthwhile, because I wanted to understand the thoughts and mind and emotions and go a bit deeper, not just change this to get this result. It was a bit deeper I wanted to go. So she told me about you, and I researched you, and I got a couple of your free books online and to understand a bit more. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going. And then when I found you and I went to Dubai and I learned from you, that's when it's sort of all the stuff that I learned in yoga and where I wanted to sort of go to with my mind and my thoughts and my emotions. So it got cemented in a much deeper way. I always knew that I had very powerful mind, but it was completely conditioned to the negative. So I've manifested all these negative things in my life. I was very good at it. And I through my whole life, I'd said, how do I empower myself to figure out how to use my mind for positive and not negative. And this is where I was before I came to you. And I'd always said to my parents, like, how do I harness my mind? Like, there's nothing, like, no one teaches you that. Like, where do I find this person? And when I came to your training, that's where I got how to harness my mind to create whatever I wanted to and empower myself and not be a victim of my life, which I'd been my entire life. So that's how I found you. And then by doing your training, completely changed my entire sort of perception of how powerful my mind was and how I could manifest or create things in my life that were more positive.
Dude, that's quite a story. And for me, I didn't even know that Peter worked with you prior to that, because Peter is one of my coaches, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I don't know, it's been a long time that I've actually done trainings in South Africa. So isn't it amazing how life works out? At least from my perspective, you know, which is part of why I actually wanted to do those interviews. I wanted to reconnect and get a little bit of insights in terms of the ripple effects that all of this stuff is creating, you know, because it doesn't, you know, if I coach you, it doesn't end with you. You start coaching others, I guess. And then, you know, maybe one day become a coach, I don't know. But I guess for me, whoever's inspired to touch other people's lives in this meaningful way, it's a calling. It becomes a calling rather than a job. Awesome, beautiful. So tell me something. Tell me about the training itself. When you got into the training, you already came rather educated on the topics that we covered and things like that. Did anything stand out? Did you have any breakthroughs yourself during the training as well, or did you just get some new skills?
No, I had massive breakthroughs the entire time. Just the awareness of my emotions. I mean, in the first 2 days, just understanding. I mean, there's a simple exercise that I still use today. Is just what emotion do I not want to feel, and what are the things that trigger that emotion, and then what emotion do I want to feel, and then what things trigger that, just to become aware of my emotions, because I was just completely unaware and unconscious of the emotion I was feeling, and emotion would occur or happen to me at that stage. And I realized very early on in your training that they weren't happening to me, and I had the control and the power to understand how they work and what causes them through my thoughts, and that my thoughts, if they're negative, they can be changed to a positive thought. So my breakthroughs were massive the entire way through, particularly with understanding how to empower myself and not being a victim of my circumstances. I was a victim of my circumstances my entire life. I always blame everyone else. And when I got the understanding, which was difficult when you explained that to me the first time, understanding empowerment and cause and effect, when I got it and I understood it deeper than just intellectually, I realized that I created everything in my life, and there was no way that I couldn't change it if I created it. And that was one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had throughout the training. Second, and then another huge one that I had was the principle of perception as projection, and that there's nothing, everyone outside of me is just a mirror or a reflection of me. And I had a massive problem with my sister for 2 years. I didn't speak to her. And in the training, it was one of the things that I wrote down, and like, what's going on, or what are your beliefs, or there was something about that I had to bring this up. And I remember writing it down, getting like really charged about it. The way that she'd acted and behaved with me, and how she treated me and my family and my mom and my dad, and I was very resentful towards her. And you asked me or us, the whole group, name 3 people that you don't like, or not name them, but just think of them and name 3 things about that person that you don't like. And I was named them, very happily to name them. Yeah, she's aggressive, she's rude, she uses my parents, whatever it was. And then you said to me, that's inside of you. And I was like, no, it's not inside of me. And I fought it and I resisted it for probably an hour. Even after the exercise had finished, I was like, no, there's actually no chance. And as I went on through the day, I started working at that, and I realized, holy shit, this is inside of me, and it's not actually her. And I accepted these parts as me, and I started to work on them during the training. I came back from training. For some reason, I don't know where, she phoned me and just said, hey, let's just sort this out. I didn't do anything. She didn't change. I had to change. And the empowering part was learning that I have to change myself before someone else changes. And that was a massive breakthrough for me, because it just empowers me completely. That no matter what anyone says or does about me, I get to decide how I react or respond to them. And if I don't like someone in my reality, or something is not in line with me, I get to change how I show up to them, with them. So those were two massive breakthroughs that I had. I mean, there's thousands. I mean, it's changed my whole perception.
I mean, it's obviously clear as a day, because at the end of the day, we are the meaning makers, so we get to experience our own meanings that we assign to things, which is what you were referring to. But are you saying that because you changed something inside of you, your relationship with your sister changed now? As in, how's your relationship now with her? What's really different?
Well, what's different now is we can actually talk to each other. It's completely different. we used to talk, and if we did talk, it would always be a very aggressive confrontation. Now it's just, I'm very accepting of her. So what's changed is I'm just accepting of who she is, and that's the way she is. And there's nothing that I can do to change her, and I don't want to change her, because that's how she is. So I've just learned that whatever she's doing, she's not doing it to me. It's just how I process that, and the meaning that I give to what she's doing changes how I respond intrinsically. And that's empowering, because I don't get to react anymore. I get to respond, and I get to show compassion towards her and understand her.
Beautiful, man. So tell me, I want to get you back into the training room somehow. I get you had breakthroughs. I get that. My question is, or how was your relationship with other students? I'm always curious, because look, I get to hear, I want to say most stories, but I really don't. I bet I get 10% of what's really happening in the room. That doesn't involve me, if you know what I mean. What happens during breaks, what happens with your interactions with one another. From what I know, you always tend to, as a group, come up with a, I don't know, WhatsApp, a little group message, and then you guys stay in touch and then have your own thing. I'm just wondering, your training was, you said, about 15 months ago, right? That's a long time ago. Are you even in touch with any of your classmates? How's that going?
I'm still in touch with them, most of them. We've got two WhatsApp groups, one for the one that I did in July, and then one for the master that I did in October last year. So we've got two WhatsApp groups, and I actually stayed with someone from the training when I went back to Dubai for the masters, and we always discuss about meeting up and seeing each other when we're in Dubai, or if they come to South Africa, or to go out on some trips to Bali. So we're always in touch, and we actually had a refresher. We decided we needed a refresher, so one of the girls organized a Zoom call on Sunday, and we had a 2-hour call with everyone, just going over some topics from the master training. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. We've created.
This is what I mean. I'm not even part of that, and I hallucinating that I know what's going on behind, like with you guys. But you guys pick up a life of your own and hang out and do things, and it sounds empowering, sounds productive. It doesn't sound like a support group, cry on my shoulder kind of thing.
Definitely not.
It sounds like continuous growth and stuff. Yeah.
For sure, 100%. And it's just it's really, really nice, because the connections that I've made there are probably some of the strongest connections that I've got currently in my life with friends. So there's probably about 4 or 5 people that I'm already connected with, and we stay in touch regularly with calls. And now this thing with this, once a week we're going to do these calls to go through a topic that we pick, and then someone teaches it, and we get to ask questions. So that's also going to bring us much closer together.
Cool, beautiful. For me, that closely links to the topic of environment, and how so much people out there would have should I say, easier ways of changing or create a better quality of life experience if they could only change their environment. So how I translate what you just said in my mind is that those new friends became part of your active, consistent environment, and you took each other home in a way, and you kind of kept that as part of the environment. Obviously, that's in addition to seeing me once a week on masterclass calls, and what we do as part of RSCI together. This is something that even has a life of it on its own, which is beautiful. I had no idea, obviously. And that's what I'm saying. Who knows what other things I don't even know what you guys do
so
together
I can tell
afterwards.
You, lots.
But I'm really amazed with the level of relationships you guys forge. You spend 10 days together in a room, and suddenly, you know, day one and whatever, day two, before we know, this becomes like a family, becomes such a close, deep connections that, I don't know, I really obviously enjoy it. I just can't find a model to model, if you know what I mean. It just happens in the room, I guess, based on the work that we're doing and topics we cover, and relationships just get so close and so deep. It's beautiful for me to watch that.
It is actually amazing. I was actually thinking about it the other day. It doesn't, for what I experienced, it didn't, or I came from a background of like, who are you? What school did you go to? How much money do you have? You know, where do you live? You know, all these things that sort of rated your social status. And in that room, no one asks you, where are you from? No one asks you what you do for a living. It's just, you're a human being. And that's why the connections are so deep, because it's just, there's no crap. It's just, you're there to learn and grow. And everyone's got that same fire inside them, or that same a drive of growth. And, you know, when you get a room of people like that, it doesn't matter about anything else except how can I help you as a human being. And that's what I realized was so special about those trainings, why the connections were so deep. And I'm so grateful for that, because the first place that I felt true authenticity within a group, and now that's gone into my clients who I'm working with, where I get to work with authentic people who actually are real, you know, and are looking to.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your current life. Tell me about, you know, this was like life before the training and a little bit of what happened in the training room, I guess. What's different now for you? I guess 15 months later, it's a fair amount of time that passed since you finished your training to, I don't know, whatever changes you made in your life, or just tell us about your life right now. What's going on with Troy right now?
My life right now is like, I actually had to think deeply about what I told you about earlier, because it's so foreign to me, thinking about those things in the past. But right now, my life is one of complete excitement, and I get to choose to be happy every single day. Even when shit's going badly, I get to choose to be happy. And this is the lesson that I've learned. So right now I'm sober, completely sober. I'm completely off meds that they told me that I would be on for the rest of my life. And I empowered myself to understand how to get off those meds. And I did this I was off them at the start of January, which is life-changing for me, because I had to take 12 different pills a day, in the morning and the evening. So off meds completely. My relationship with my fiance is the most authentic it's been ever. We're very understanding of each other. I was a very angry person before, and now my anger, although I will still get angry, but I realize it and I become aware of it instantly, and I'm out of the anger within 2-3 minutes, to the point where my fiance laughs at me when she sees me get angry. She's like, "Oh, okay, we'll see now," and you'll go, "Shit, sorry," you know. So my emotional reactivity has become more response, and I understand what's going on. My emotional intelligence has increased. My relationship with my family is way better. My relationship with my fiance is amazing. I've actually moving into an environment again, like you said, that I want to be in. So I'm moving into the winelands in Franschhoek, where I'm surrounded by nature. I get to go for walks and hikes. I get to go to beautiful restaurants. There's no traffic. There's just horses. And you know, it's like on the farmlands, and there's just beautiful vineyards and valleys and rivers. And I want to be in nature. And I thought that I could only do that when I was 60 years old, back in the day when I finished and retired and got all this money. But I get to do it now. So I'm creating a life that I want now, and I am excited to wake up. Depression's the furthest thing from my mind. Looking back now at how close I got to suicide, looking back now, seems like the stupidest thing I could have ever thought of, because I wouldn't have had this whole shift and change within my life. And like before, I actually didn't want to have kids, but now I'm excited to maybe have some children as well. So I was like, no, kids are a pain, and they do this, and they're a waste of money, and just negative. And now I'm like, cool, let's just see what happens. I'm living the unknown, which is wow. which is fun. So my life completely changed. completely changed for the better, and I get to decide what feelings I feel, because that's the quality of life. And I'm not so attached to, getting things to impress other people. Now I'm creating stuff and helping other people, contributing to my clients to see them change. And the fulfillment that I get from that's way more than the fulfillment that I would ever got from buying that car or buying that house on the hill that people could see. So it completely changed.
Tell me about that. Tell me about, because to me that rocks my boat usually even more. It's one thing helping someone change their life and transform it. It's a completely the other when that person goes and makes ripple effects in other people's lives. So you're obviously seeing clients. Tell me about it. Share, obviously no names and things, but tell us about some of the inspiring sessions you had with your clients. What did you participate in? I don't want to say what did you do for them, if you know what I mean, but more like, yeah, what rocks your boat when you see clients? What kind of changes have you experienced them do that to themselves? Tell me about it. Tell me about your experience as a coach.
It's actually so interesting, because my clients, although I wasn't looking for those particular clients, would come to me, and they would all have similar issues that I had: depression, anxiety, and a drug problem, recreational drug user, and we would never work on those particular things, because I was always very much, I'm not a recovery coach, or I'm not qualified to help you stop doing drugs, right? But when I work with them, people, and help them heal their emotional pain, right, which I learned from you very effectively, I had one client come to me after 2 or 3 weeks after working with her, going, Troy, I don't know what happened, but I'm not using cocaine anymore. She was using it 4 or 5 times a week. She's stopped completely. She's not using it now. I worked with her about 4 months ago, and completely stopped. She came, I saw her a week ago, and she still said, Troy, got no desire whatsoever, because she healed the emotional stuff, the stuff she was hiding, and the insecurity. She also had problems with, or not problems, but she was abused as a child, and had a lot of anger towards that. Completely healed the anger through releasing the trauma that she experienced, and every single client has had similar experiences where I don't even get to work on their so-called presenting problem. We just go a bit deeper and heal that emotional thing.
It's the problem. It's not the real problem. There's deeper issues. Is that what you mean?
It's never the real problem. Like, if I had to work with them on, hey, stop smoking, or stop doing drugs, or stop drinking, they would just go back to it. So, and also, I'm not qualified. I'm not going to tell people, hey, I'm going to help you stop doing drugs, because it's just not what I do. I help people heal their emotional pain. I help them do it. They do it. That's what you taught me, and that's what I did as well. I healed my own stuff so I could help other people. But I mean, that's people finding what they want to do, going from completely unfulfilled, hating their jobs, their corporate jobs, to actually doing something they want to do, empowering themselves to ask for what they're worth within their job, haven't had raises for 2-3 years. Now they get a 50% raise from just asking, and empowering themselves to ask, and them just stepping into their worth by understanding that they don't need to, be stuck in a job that they hate. They don't need to do something that they believe will keep them safe. So, I mean, the trauma stuff is huge. Helping or seeing. I've seen two women, or 3 women, sorry, who've been abused sexually, heal completely from that. Seen people, clients who are in toxic jobs, toxic companies, businesses, where they're shareholders of the businesses, just leave and start their own business and get what they deserve. Seeing guys with their jobs change jobs, seeing people and their relationships start to flourish again. And this is not working on the specific thing. It's just finding out what the root cause of their pain is, and them healing the pain. They get to do it. It's not therapy like I was in for years. It's 15 years. It's way different. It's results.
This
and
is
it's just
what rocks my boat, the result story, because like you said, isn't it amazing that no matter what they come to us with, by allowing us to take them through a deeper experience, I mean, not like a 5 minute coaching session, but if they want to go for the deepest process we can facilitate for them, they get to heal stuff they didn't even know needed healing, kind of thing, right? And often it's even content free. We don't even need to hear the entire, traumatic story or specifics of what happened. Somehow throughout this process, like you said, they heal themselves and life just becomes, phenomenal from there on. They're just freer, sweeter, whatever. They find their self-confidence, they find their self-worth. And all of that happens without us. This is the best part for me. Without giving them specific advice, like, hey, stop doing this, you just feel good, or telling them what to do. I think I learned this a long time ago. Telling people what to do doesn't work. So what I love about our modalities is that our kind of coaching, or the approach that we have, kind of works behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. I mean, of course, you know what I mean. that takes care of the root cause of the issue that, whether you were aware of it or not, is kind of irrelevant in the process. And once that's removed, people just like open their eyes or see things differently from there on. It changes everything. And to me, just, I don't know if I'll ever get tired of seeing that again, because each client is different. And yet, if you try to explain, it's the same story, really. It's just
Exactly.
so fulfilling, I guess, being able to play the role for them. It's incredible. And for me, obviously, having chats with you or any other of my coaches who are in the coaching, seeing clients, we can talk about it all day long, because it's the same thing. I think what energizes us is the juice we get when they have a major transformation. It's just, I think that's our drive. That's our thing. But it's not for everyone, I believe. I would imagine quite a few people go through my training, the same training you've been through, and they discovered their own purpose in the process because of the nature of the training. Again, they don't even become a coach. In other words, they come up with another passion, another exciting thing that they actually want to pursue, and they don't even become coaches. So obviously I treat you all the same, and obviously my main agenda is getting more coaches out there, because I really think that this world needs. I think there's so much unnecessary pain, due to lack of knowledge. We just didn't know any better, and I know what we know, the world needs to hear. So spreading that word and creating those ripple effects is my main drive, hence my involvement in supporting you guys onwards long after the training, showing up for you as much as I can, mainly through the masterclass program that we run. But even aside of that, I don't know, I can't imagine a scenario when somebody reached out and me or Corina or one of people from my team weren't there for them. So just explaining, that's the drive behind, because we are super intimately invested in you guys getting it, so you can make an even bigger impact in the world out there. It's beautiful. So buddy, that's amazing. Obviously, what's in your future though? Because it hasn't happened yet. What's in your future? What do you see happening in your future?
Impacting more people's lives and being able to live a completely flexible lifestyle from wherever I want in the world, running an online business, and having online courses that people get so much value from, and then eventually what I'd like to do is be speaking on stages, maybe even to kids in schools. That's one of my sort of like underlying passions, to take this information to the young mind so they can implement it from a young age. If I had this information when I was 15 years old or 14 years old, my life would be very, very different. I'm actually working with my niece now, who's 12 years old, and she gets it. I mean, her life was completely changed. And so I'm just giving her as much information as possible. So future, I'd definitely like to get involved in working with some schools, the ones that are open to this type of thinking, and building this business, scaling this business to impact more lives, thousands of people's lives. That's where my drive lies. Like you said, so many people are suffering. I was suffering for years, and I had no way how to figure it out. So There's people who just need someone to knock on their door, and I want to be that person that knocks on their door to help them come out of this pain and suffering that they don't need to be in. And you don't know that until you get this knowledge, and it's beautiful, powerful knowledge. I mean, just to understand how your mind works, your thoughts and your emotions, and how powerful your unconscious mind works. So to take this information to as many people as I can, and impact as many lives, and have this ripple effect just continue and continue and continue from what you've taught me. That is my sort of vision for the future.
I'm laughing because it's always beautiful to see somebody kind of congruently in touch with their passion, because I see passion through that. So having that drive, to me, that's just music to my ears. So Troy, given the timing, let's say it like this, like in parting, do you have any message for anyone out there, regardless of their age or background? Do you have any message for them if they're considering taking a training like this? What's your message to them, I guess?
I think regardless of if you want to become a coach or not, this training is powerful, and it'll help you figure out what you want to do. Like, I only realized in the training that I wanted to be a coach, and it might have been something else. But within this process, you remove all these masks that you put up your entire life, trying to impress other people or do the right thing, whatever that is, and you lose yourself. So by doing this training, I found out who I actually was, and I didn't actually. Everyone says you got to go find yourself, Troy. Go travel to find yourself. You got to find yourself. You got to find yourself. Yourself's inside you, and if you don't do the work, you're not going to find yourself. So anyone that wants to find themselves and understand how they work, whatever find yourself means, understand who you are. Like, as you say, unbecome who you're not, and I love that, because that's literally what I felt like after this process. I said to myself, I remember sitting outside with a bunch of students. I said, guys, what actually happened? What actually happened? Like, what do we do? And someone just said, Robert told us from the start, you unbecome who you are not, and you figure out who you actually are. And from that place, you can create the life that you actually want. And that's what I got. And that's, I think, the gift that everyone should lean into. And if they have the opportunity to do it, because what's more important than knowing who you are and who you could become?
It only informs everything else you do in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Only that. Okay, buddy, awesome. Tell me something. If I don't know who will see this interview, if anyone gets, because let me first say this, I'm inspired by you. I am really touched. I mean, I can't say that I didn't know this, because after all, we are in touch over time, and it's not news to me per se, but just it's almost like a different format we're having now. We're keeping the conversation somewhat clean, So for me, it's quite inspiring to see you in this light, and to see you so congruent, sharing your story, but also sharing who you are today. And for me, that just speaks volumes. So thank you for choosing to be who you are today. It really makes my world so much beautiful at the same time.
Thank you, Robert.
Having said that, if somebody else gets inspired by, I don't know, your story, or wants to get in touch with you, I know you have a website. Is it troymcteer.com, or what's the website? All right. So people can reach you if they want to be coached by you or whatever, because especially nowadays with technology, boundaries in terms of geographic boundaries don't really exist. A lot of coaches are seeing clients online. So I guess I want to put it out there, as in, like, hey, if you want to reach Troy, troymcteer.com. I think I'll put a link on top of it later on, so they can do that. Awesome, beautiful, buddy. Thank you, and I guess I'll be seeing you soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, and also Instagram, Troy McTeer. That's a good one.
There you go, Troy McTeer. Beautiful.
Robert, I just wanted to say to you, thank you, because that's the first time that I've actually gone through everything consciously. So it's nice to, and I was like, I want to see how far I've come. Like saying it out loud and seeing where, because I've just sort of, okay, cool, it's fine. We get complacent as human beings, we forget. And looking back and telling you has just cemented how far I've come, and I've just got to be gentle with myself and kind with myself, and actually just enjoy the process.
this is something else I'm aware of. I find that a lot of you coaches, should I call you, you go through this kind of process and you transform yourself so deeply and so profoundly that it's a major wow, mind-blowing stuff, you guys call it, okay? But then we give you a week or two, and then you just get used to it. And that mind-blowing, life-transforming stuff becomes the normal you, and like you always been this way. So I think it's fair to say or assume that a lot of you guys tend to forget where you came from. In other words, you're taking for granted this new life that you created for yourself, that you tend to lose touch with your old self, or should I say, with the scenarios you come out of. Not that we should dwell on that or think about it, or dwell on the past stuff, but I think it's nice to sometimes take a moment like this and go, hey, shit, I forgot about all of this stuff. I forgot how bad it was or whatever. It's almost so foreign now just thinking about it, right? Yeah. And I think it's a useful reminder. It's a nice opportunity as well for you to look back and go, wow, this actually happened.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive for me. I've had shifts now again. So thank you.
Awesome.
I'm gonna just be a bit,
buddy. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry. Yeah.
I said I'm just gonna be a bit more and just slow down a bit, and just not with our stuff, but I'm saying just be a bit more and just enjoy myself, and just go, well done, Troy. I haven't given myself credit, which is quite cool to understand now. So thank you.
For what it's worth, proud of you. Very proud of you. Awesome, buddy.
Thank you.